Welcome to Across the Table, the podcast of Hannibal the Magician.
So, welcome back. It's Hannibal. It is a beautiful October morning, and I am 22,000 days old today. When I was younger at a county fair, a palm reader, a person with a big sign over her booth that said "Gypsy" on it, told me that I would live exactly 22,000 days, and that would be it. That would be all for me. But I have lived a couple of hours more than 22,000 days, and well, that test didn't quite pass the mustard. Thought I'd talk a little bit today about transformation. Coming and becoming and unbecoming. We are in a constant state of change. The tiniest things that we do in our daily lives can have big repercussions down the road, or even small ones, but change is inevitable. Evolution is inevitable. And as far as being a performer goes, it is crucial. You don't want to stay the exact same level that you first started off with. As your skill increases, as your understanding of your medium and of your art and of the people that you make it for, including yourself, evolves and becomes different. So, what about the transformation? I have notes, by the way. I am not just speaking off the top of my head. And actually, that's a point I'm going to keep going with for just a second. When I step out on stage, my job is to make it look effortless, to make it look like and spontaneous, like it's just coming off the top of my head. But behind that illusion of spontaneity and effortlessness are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours of preparation and practice and getting on stage and failing. So I have notes. I made notes about what I wanted to speak about today. Sorry if that breaks an illusion for you. What about the transformation that's happening to me, to the person who is me right now? That's what I'm going to talk about today, becoming and unbecoming. Part 1, the illusion of the finished product. When people meet me, they see the finished product. This is exactly what I was talking about a moment ago. The performer, the speaker, the person who seems to have a confident handle on their path. The truth is, most of the interesting and difficult parts of life happen in the process and the mess of becoming. Happiness, to quote my favorite band, happiness is not at the end of the road. Happiness is the road. The process is fascinating and exciting and challenging and scary, and so worth the journey. For many, many years, I focused on becoming a successful magician. That meant mastering the sleights, understanding the stagecraft, learning how to command a room, how to speak to 100 people, to 500 people, to 1,000 people, and still make it feel personal for each and every one of them there. It was about acquisition at the beginning, acquiring the skills, acquiring the bookings, acquiring a reputation, forward march, right? But what happens when you arrive at the goal that you set for yourself, you realize that to stay authentic, to keep growing, you have to start the equally important and sometimes terrifying prospect of unbecoming. As a magician, I learned that the greatest trick is going to be getting the audience to believe the impossible, not to suspend their disbelief, to bring their disbelief as hardcore as they possibly can, and still being able to instill with them a sense of mystery, a sense of wonder. Personally, I had to unlearn some of the tricks I play on myself, like doing a sleight and closing my eyes at the moment that I did the tricky move, because, I don't know, deep in the mental recesses of the dungeon that is my brain, if I don't see the bad move, they may not see the bad move. I had to unbecome the performer who believed his worth was tied only to the applause. I had to shed the identity that said a real magician is the one that protects his secrets at all costs. We saw, those of us that watch the news on a semi-religious basis, saw a person who thrives on applause a couple of days ago come out to no applause and went into what I call the performer flop, where you all but beg for the audience to acknowledge you. It's okay if you clap. It's okay if I know you're not supposed to applaud, but it's okay if you do applaud. You're begging for it, and it diminishes you. It diminishes anything you have to say from that point forward on the stage. For a long time, the persona was a comfortable cloak, the one that I wore. But comfort can be a cage. The moment I started sharing the philosophy behind the trick, the psychology of belief, the power of the narrative, that's when my road shifted from just being a magician, a performer, a variety entertainer, that I became an inspirational speaker. I had to unbecome the purely technical entertainer to become the messenger that I'm still working on. It was a necessary shedding of the old skin. And then there's the seance work. This is where the concepts of becoming and unbecoming get really interesting, because the work itself is about the unseen, the things we think we know and the things we're willing to question. The seance is a moment of letting go. The audience has to unbecome their hyper-skeptical, defensive selves to allow for the experience to happen. They have to allow for the possibility of the unexplainable. Think about this. A magic show where you don't expect any applause, where you don't expect any acknowledgement or laughter or well done or a standing ovation, none of those things. I don't want those in my show. I want them to sink into the mystery. I want them to sink into the story. I want to lead them into the woods and then show them around and say, look at this beautiful place. It's real. I did not have a goal in mind of becoming a seance leader, an apparitionist. Honestly, someone called and said, can you write a story? And I said, yeah, I can write a story. What do you want the story to say? And they said, we'd like to examine the history of the spiritualist movement around the Stanley Hotel and present it in such a way that it recreates the kind of seance that someone might have experienced in the early part of the 20th century. We want the history of the hotel to be the strongest part. We would like a certain sense of mystery and spookiness to be the underlying pinning. And anything you want to put in, anything that says you as a performer, you're allowed to do that too. That's a tremendous, tremendous box of tools to be handed. So that's what I walked into 13 with. And I have certainly shaped it into something that I'm very, very proud of, something that reflects the hotel, reflects my employer, and reflects me, as well as turning the mirror back around on the people that are sitting in my seats. I want you to see yourself and your own ghosts that you carry with you, memories that you carry with you as well. So this is the performer's life across the table. It's not just a straight line to success. It's a constant cyclical process of evolution. I became the master of a skill. I unbecame the attachment to that skill as my only identity. I become something new, a speaker, a storyteller, a guide. I unbecome the fear of leaving the old self behind. 22,000 days, and I'm wondering, how will I evolve in the next 1,000 days, 5,000 days? How many days are actually left to me? My life, your life, they are not fixed performances. They are improvisational pieces. Every morning you get to choose what you're going to let go of, what beliefs, what fears, what old versions of yourself, and what you're going to embrace and what you're going to become. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Till the next time we speak, which may be tomorrow, it might be next week. I'm kind of loose on my scheduling. I'll be consistent, but I won't be perfectionally consistent. Where in your life are you holding on too tightly to a version of yourself that no longer serves you? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to unbecome today so that the next greater version of yourself can finally start becoming? Think about it. Do you want to be the exact same person you are 5 years from now? Or would you like to travel the road deeper into the woods and see what mysteries and beauties you can understand or explore or simply reveal? And in revealing, revel in. Your potential is unlimited. Feed your imagination. Read some books. I am reading, what am I reading right now? I am reading The Legend of Bagger Vance at the moment. Most of the way through it, but it's got some fascinating spiritualist guides through it. Some interesting points of view, especially if you play golf. It's got a real nice tie-in. Been fascinated by this book, Legend of Bagger Vance by Stephen Pressman. Read my book. I got some interesting stuff to say. All the links and all this stuff will be down in the descriptions and everything else. Meanwhile, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. I will ponder my own thoughts and evolve my own self a little bit further and keep you posted on the track of my adventure and my journey. I'm Hannibal. I look forward to talking to you again, and I hope there's love where you are.
I may not know exactly where this road is taking me, but I know I'm exactly right where I'm supposed to be. The journey is long, full of joy and pain, but as long as you're smiling, I'll stand in the rain. I have nothing left to give other than love. And the funny thing about it is, love is everything. I hope there is love where you are. I hope there is love where you are. I may be a liar full of tricks, but if you open up your eyes, you would see nothing but the truth behind all of my lies. I broke every rule and I rolled every boulder. I carried the weight of the world on my shoulder. There is nothing left to give other than love. And the best part about it is, love is everything. I hope there is love where you are. 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 Anyone can wave a wand and make the heartache disappear, then call it art. But without heart, you've got nothing but illusion. Anyone can wave a wand and make all their heartache disappear and call it art. But without heart, you've got nothing but illusion. I hope there is love where you are. I hope there is love where you are. love.